All right, let's do this. Welcome to the Backyard Professor Live, Sunday night, May 24th. Boy, we're almost at the end of May. And the Strait of Hormuz is still closed, and that's a disaster for the world economy. We are past the point of no return. We will, in the United States, be feeling that world recession. Probably we'll start seeing really serious signs by the 4th of July. And then up into September, it's going to be a nightmare. But that's not what I'm going to talk about tonight. More discussion has come about on the UFO files that the Pentagon released here a couple days ago. And there are some good ones. I want to kind of get an overview, basically, of some of the themes and ideas from Representative Burleson that I thought was interesting. And I want to talk about one of the very interesting interviews. It was short, but it was on Fox News of all things, which really surprised me. I normally don't watch the, state regime media, Fox News, but on this one they did okay. So I will share that with you. And then we have some exquisite analysis from Richard Dolan, one of my favorite YouTube channel creators. Now, I'm going to want to talk with you, the audience, about some of the things Richard shows and says. So we'll do some audience participation tonight. I think that'll be fun to get your ideas as well. Very interesting materials. Let's get going. Let's see. Let's share the first screen. I think the first one I want to do is this one. Yeah, let's go to Fox News real quick, get this over with, because I can't stand their bias, but it's okay. This one was a decent interview.
All right, well, the Pentagon is releasing another round of UFO files. More than 50 videos, documents, and military encounters involving objects officials still can't explain. One clip appears to show an Air Force jet tracking an unidentified object over Lake Huron. Another appears to show a pulsing sphere gliding over water in 2024. And another shows a small bright shape on infrared as the camera zooms, tracks in, and tries to hold it in frame. Now, the Pentagon says don't call them aliens. Okay, fine. But after another stack of unexplained files, everyone is asking the same question. Well, what are they? Here to discuss it is Mike Barra, a UFO expert and author. Mike, I'm not going to lie to you. I put my head in the sand on this. I feel like life here on Earth is complicated enough. Humans are complicated enough. Tell me, what have we learned with the Pentagon releasing some of these files that we didn't know before?
Well, I think the main thing we've learned, Lisa, is that, all of us UFO geeks are not crazy, that there is something going on out there, and there's something that even the military can't explain. Some of these videos are quite extraordinary. Most of them probably have fairly prosaic explanations, but the reality is something strange is happening, and today's videos were some examples of that.
Okay, let me say right off the bat, woohoo! Some of us UFO geeks, nerds, whatever you want to call us, we are not crazy. Of course, then we knew that already, right? We know we're not crazy. Some of us do gardening, like I've been showing in a few videos this weekend, and I've got a lot more of those to show you. Some of us go bicycle riding, which is wonderful. I've got to get my bike back into shape, or get my body back into shape, and get my butt back on my bike, etc. So how is everybody? Tim Rathbone, hey. Yeah, they did. And unfortunately here, I'll show your comment, Tim. Thank you. They did strip the metadata off these videos. In the interest of full disclosure, we're going to release some UFO files, but we're not going to give you everything. Someone in a comment of another video said that Representative Tim Burchett said, well, in this second batch, there's going to be some disinformation in it. Well, now that's real sweet. You're interested in full transparency, but you're going to give us disinformation. You asshats. It makes you wonder. It just does, right? All right, let's keep going with this interview. It's a fun interview. I like this guy very much.
So you said something's going on. What is that something from your perspective?
Look, aliens have been here for a long time. They've been visiting us, especially since World War II. I think their curiosity has increased rather dramatically, and they are here to find out about us, to take something from us, to get something for themselves. I think that's definitely the agenda, and we have to figure out who they are, where they're from, and
Did you see that video? Did you see that video of that jet fighter shooting down that UFO? Kabloom! You know, they have this classified. They put it under UAP, UFOs. We didn't know what it was. And for Pete's sake, everybody can see that that was a balloon, right? So, you know, now the one thing I noticed about the several different clips that I'm going to show you tonight is that so many of these people did not really show us the actual interesting clips of genuine anomalies. And that's what I'm going to show you tonight. Well, I'm going to show you someone who showed you because it's so interesting. It seems like all the news sources also pick the most blasé ones to show us and say this is disclosure in the interest of full transparency. And it's nothing of the sort. Drives me nuts. All right, let's keep going. This is fun. We're having fun yet. You know, you got to have some fun. All right. Go, Mike, go.
And especially why they're here, and see what we can do about it. I mean, this is our planet after all, last time I checked.
I mean, if they're watching, I come in peace. I mean no harm. don't come for me. You know, but Mike, a lot of times, you know, what we end up finding out is something that is in the ordinary. So walk us through what you've seen that would be considered extraordinary or unexplainable.
Well, yeah, I mean, first of all, I can show you some NASA videos from the 1990s that are absolutely powered vehicles in low Earth orbit that cannot be explained by any technology that we admit that we have.
Okay, so I have a question for this guy. If you have that kind of video, what the hell, dude? Why have you not produced that? Right? Or is that classified from a private citizen? You know, him saying that kind of bothers me in a way. Well, I've got stuff I seen, but I'm going to sit on it. Gee, thanks. I hope I'm misunderstanding him. If I am, I'll apologize to him. But I mean, dang. What do you mean I keep getting interrupted on YouTube, but no other channels do? That's interesting. I don't mean to be interrupted. I'm doing the interrupting on purpose to do a commentary. But yeah, if I'm interrupted, I'm interrupted. All right. Let's finish this off because I know I keep interrupting this poor guy too. But that kind of bothered me, his comment. I've got videos that I've seen that absolutely show powered craft that nobody else can explain. Well, gee, thanks for sharing it, you know. Whose side are you on, dude? Kind of made me mad.
As for today's dump, it's even more extraordinary because there's one especially called instant acceleration, which really shows an object that is just sort of hovering, not doing much of anything, and all of a sudden it just shoots off the screen. Now, even if that was a drone of some kind and it had some sort of superjet engine, it would have been destroyed by the inertia created by such a maneuver. So you look at that and you say to yourself, there are definitely technologies out there that we have not been told about, that we are not allowed to know about. And either they're ours or they're somebody else's. And if they're somebody else's, we should probably be concerned about that.
All right. So, and again, you know, typical of Fox News, they didn't show the part of the video clip with that thing zipping off. I have another video clip that shows it. Don't worry. Well, you've probably all already seen it. Now, that was cool. Seriously. On the other hand, I have seen comments that it was because he moved the camera fast and people are talking about the background, etc. We'll explore that some more here in just a little while, okay? So, okay, let's take a look at another one. We are on a roll here. We are going to keep right on chugging, and I don't mean chugging beer. I mean chugging UFO files stuff. Oh, these guys are good too. Let me share this. This is Night Shift with Clint, and he always has Pavel and Andy on as guests. This isn't necessarily about the batch of UFOs that was let out, but the commentary on this particular picture / video from Pavel, he makes a great point that I want to make sure we understand. I thought this was a really good point. Let's take a listen. Pavel usually has pretty good insights.
What do you think about this think tank link that you put up in the chat, Pavel? This is
I mean, that video below is one of the most interesting videos that I've seen, but it's apparently already been debunked. But like one of the first videos I saw ever on the topic was this one. It's been debunked, allegedly, right?
But what is I mean, by who and what method and like you?
I'm not aware. I'm just like this is something that I constantly say. Like every UFO case has a debunk. Like that's almost an unwritten rule that.
Now, unfortunately, whether you agree with him or not, he has a really interesting point. Every UFO video out there has a debunk. Now, is this because of AI? Yeah, it could have some influence on it, yes. On the other hand, there have been some explanations that even I have proffered some of those explanations in previous videos of mine several months ago where I said, well, all right, yeah, the video is difficult to get clear. Pictures are fuzzy, etc. There's too much movement, shaking, etc. You can't get close enough. Can't you just give us a good video? Please, for the love of all that is alien and UFO, please just give us one really good, clear video, would you please? And apparently we can't. It might have something to do with the way the UFOs themselves travel. I don't know. You know, I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not saying I agree with that. I'm saying that is one way out and around of the AI stuff. That is one of the dead giveaways, isn't it? The AI videos are too clear. I mean, doggone it if you are, and doggone it if you aren't. Man, that sucks. If it's fuzzy and shaky, well, there might be a chance. But if it's crystal clear and smooth, no, that's AI. That's AI fake. That's unfortunate, you know. Doggone it. I wish there was a way around that. I really do, but I don't know of one that I can think of right off the top of my little top loftical head. Apologies to James Joyce for those of you who do read him. I want to save that one for just a minute. Now let's peek in on Avi Loeb. And now I know, I get it. Avi Loeb is, I get it. Avi Loeb is, well, he's controversial. Professor Dave hates his guts. I think that's because he doesn't understand him myself, but I'm not going to argue with him about that. I like Avi. He is trying as best he can to stay within the, how would you put this, the preordained channels of classical science, of fundamental science, because that's worked so well. Now, it's not perfect, of course not. It's still based on faulty human observation, right? But still, as a general rule, science has done remarkably well for the last 400 or 500 years. And I mean, we're on computers today thanks to it, instead of just saying prayers, hoping for some kind of a technological breakthrough. No, science actually gave us the doodad, the computer and the electricity and all that jazz. Prayer didn't do that. And I know there's going to be some who argue against me. Well, you never know. Those scientists could have prayed and God could have given them the revelation. All right, that's fine, but that's not what they say. Anyway, neither here nor there. I'm not here to argue science versus religion. However, Avi makes an extremely interesting point here that I want to get to. Again, the unfortunate thing about this discussion with Avi is they didn't go through any of the really good clips at all. And I just I thought, well, that's a lost opportunity. I'm not going to do that on my show tonight. So, but what Avi says in this one particular instance is worth paying attention to. So, and that's why I chose this, because let's take a listen.
Look closely. What you're seeing here is an unidentified airborne object filmed by a U.S. military drone over Syria in 2021, just released by the Pentagon. It's moving at speed. Keep looking, because suddenly it accelerates and vanishes like something out of science fiction, as if it just went into warp speed. Except this isn't science fiction. It's real military footage, part of a second batch of declassified U.S. government files released by the Pentagon yesterday. 51 videos, 7 audio recordings, and previously unseen written accounts. We're going to go through what's in this release and what, if anything, it may actually prove. And we're doing that with Avi Loeb. He's an astrophysicist and professor of science at Harvard University and founder of the Galileo Project. That's Harvard's dedicated research program for detecting signs of extraterrestrial technology. Avi, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me. It's a great pleasure.
So, Avi, why don't we pull up that video again? What do you make of this video of what seems to be this object going into warp speed out of nowhere? What's special about this, or why could the U.S. military not identify this object?
What is unusual about the object is that it accelerates very rapidly. Usually drones move at a relatively steady speed, and although we don't know the distance to this object and the value of the acceleration, but the fact that it's capable of moving so fast instantly makes it unusual. And it's potentially technology that could have been developed by some adversarial nations. So I would argue that if the U.S. intelligence agencies, the Pentagon, are not familiar with the kind of motion that it exhibits, that at the very least it poses a national security threat, because apparently someone else on Earth was capable of developing such an object. And this raises questions about what the U.S. intelligence knows and doesn't know.
You say someone else on Earth is capable of developing this. You specialize in, at least in theory, extraterrestrial technology. So what makes you so certain that this is not one of them?
Well, it could be, but first we have to consider the possibility that it is down to earth, being produced by another nation.
Okay, now like him or hate him is irrelevant to me at this point. He makes a very interesting point as a scientist. And this is actually what has helped science become the overarching main paradigm for reality up to, well, I say up to this point. He says it could be alien, but that is not what we jump to instantly first, because we have to find if there are any prosaic descriptions, any everyday stuff. Now, so far as we know, I have not kept up on the drone technology, but no drone that I'm aware of does this. That is in the public sphere, okay? So, I mean, that kind of rules out drones. Certainly no jet can do that. None that I know of. No rocket can instantly accelerate like that. Not that I'm aware of. But you notice how he does not instantly jump to aliens, even though he left that open for 6 months with the 3-Eye Atlas situation. And people just lambasted him for that. But he said, I'm not taking anything off the table. We're going to leave it all on the table, and we're going to explore how probable is that explanation compared to that one over there or this one in front of me? We're going to examine them all. We aren't going to prejudge and say, aliens, oh, that's too stupid. We're not even going to look at that. No, that is not the scientific endeavor. That would make science fall and cease to be useful were we to approach it like that, right? I personally think that's a very important point that he made. I just wanted to point that out to you, go. And so, yeah. And yeah, I agree. He's controversial. I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying that was an interesting point. Now, let's get to the meat a little bit more. We're in the meat right now, but I am really interested in this. Now, one more quick one from, here we go. Another bombshell from our favorite Patrick at Vetted. This is a bombshell from Representative Burleson. Now, I do hope you realize that Patrick has explained that he's doing that as a way of mocking the idea, right? He doesn't really believe everything he shows is a bombshell. He's explained that. So,
what's up, Vetters? Patrick here with Vetted. Today we're talking about this.
We just received word from Michael Thomas, who is the National Records and Archives and Records, that they're cooperating with MIT Lincoln Labs, working with the Department of War, to coordinate the release of a 1952 video from an individual from Project Blue Book by the name of Edward J. Ruppelt, who was briefing these scientists about the incursion of UFOs in the United States.
Okay, well, that could be groundbreaking.
But just keep in mind, a lot of these videos have not been explained, but as you watch some of them, you'll see this. Some of them are clearly balloons or birds, but there's also some things in there that are very interesting.
Are you a believer?
I'm not. I'm a skeptic, Jesse. I'm still a skeptic.
now that was news to me. So on the one hand, being a skeptic and yet being one of the congressional representatives who is so heavily involved in this, he is on the House Oversight Committee. So he's going to be seriously involved in this. He's taking his job seriously. Obviously, he is in the news more often than any other congressperson, except perhaps Paulina Luna. But she's more of the, I'm not trying to, she talks about it a lot, but he is out there trying to get files and videos, and he is talking to private corporations, etc. And he is using his congressional power to tell people, bring it forward. So I think Burleson is more of a real deal than any of the other congresspeople. I know Representative Tim Burchett is out there and he's active and he's got that good old boy Southern attitude. Boy, if you've seen what I seen, you'd poop your pants, y'all. You know, the thing I love about him being a skeptic, and this is ironic because it removes a bias, and yet it presents a bias. Nobody can approach any subject you're going to study. You can't do it neutrally. You're going to have a point of view. Barbara Tuchman, in her book, Practicing History, sensationally said this. If you haven't read Barbara Tuchman, you're missing out. She was good. She wrote many books that were worth reading. She said that if you don't, this idea of objectivity is a myth. If you don't have a point of view, you have no reason to talk. You have no reason to write a paper. You have no reason to make a YouTube video. Everyone has a point of view. That's not the issue. We're not trying to get rid of bias. We're trying to control a bias so that we don't jump prematurely to a conclusion without exploring all of the evidence of any subject that we're looking into, whether it's how did George Washington die, or whether, you know, the United States has won or lost the Iran war, whether the Boston Strangler actually got caught or not, or whether Jeffrey Epstein is still alive or not. I saw a program on that just recently. I haven't watched the whole program, but it's by what's his nose, Julian Dory, a couple weeks ago. He's got some really seriously interesting evidence in favor of that thesis. As we explore the evidence, we have to control our biases. That's why this batch of UFO videos is so important, because we need not objectivity, we need critical thinking. If you're a believer and you want this stuff to be real, that does not excuse you from also exploring all of the evidence with equal fervor that it might not be real. And then you can make up your mind about the probability. But with Bayesian probability, all information is put on the table, pro and con and neutral if there is such. All of it, and you explore it all. You don't get to pre-select and confirm your own bias in order to find out what real is, right? With that regard, let me show you what I think actually surprised me, and then the videos that he shows really surprised me as well, and I want to talk with you guys about this as well. So heads up, I'm going to be asking you some questions. I'm going to be asking for your comments and ideas in the chat tonight, and I want you to respond. We're going to have an interaction. I'm going to go to Richard Dolan, because he shows by far what I consider to be really interesting videos that nobody else has shown. Now, he does show this video of it zipping off, and we'll listen to his explanation. Okay? So, but let's go to Richard, because I think he did an outstanding job. He always does. Now, what interested me was his title. The latest UAP release genuinely surprised me. Listen, nothing gets past this guy. No, I'm serious. Richard Dolan is the complete UFO scholar, investigator, researcher. I don't know if he's an experiencer or not, but the man is just grounded, and yet he is historically acute. He really knows his stuff. And if these surprise him, I want to know why. And let's take a look. I like Richard. Let's take a look at this one.
So let me start off with this one. This is the second file of the new releases, and right off the bat, I thought this was pretty good. So let me click this, and I'm going to show this at normal speed, and then they slowed it down. So this is over Syria in 2021, and this is not the entire clip. The whole clip is almost 3 minutes long, which you can watch. But check this out, this quick little instant acceleration away any second. Here it goes. Boom. There it is. We'll see another version where they they call threshold enhancement to highlight it. Same action. It's moving along at a nice clip, and then suddenly, boom, it's just gone. I'm trying to figure out, is there camera angles? Is there camera movement that could cause this? Don't really. There it goes. Bam. The only thing is you'll see all of the metadata here is blanked out, so you can't really make speed calculations. This is 50%, and I'm going to show you there. Very.
Once again, in the interest of full transparency, we're going to release as many UFO files as we can, but we're still going to edit the damn things. Come on. Why can't you show us the speed calculations? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This kind of shit just infuriates me, you know? Our government, especially this dingbat administration, constantly lies to us. It's time we get the rage up and say, knock it off. Right? That's my rant. So everybody loves to hear the Backyard Professor rant. There it is. But let's take a look at some of the other ones that Dolan has. I like his analysis. I don't have TDS, so thank you anyway. I do not have TDS. I have truth. I just don't look at one side. I look at all of them. So, yeah. All right. Let's keep going with Richard Dolan.
Very, very slow. So let's see if I can slow this down a little bit more. This is 25% and then 5%. So there we go. Are we going? Here we are. You can just see that streak right off the page.
That was pretty fast at 25%. When he shows it at 5%, it's still just as fast. It's fascinating.
Off the screen, rather. And this is 5%, nice and slow. There you go.
That is very interesting. I've got to confess, I love how Dolan analyzes it at the different speeds. Let's keep going and listening to what he says.
That just crossed the frame very, 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 very fast. So I don't really know what to say other than it looks very anomalous looking.
And again, this is actually one of the videos that shows one of the famous anomalies for a legitimate UFO. So the question is, was it camera work that caused that? Was it the actual craft, etc.? Experts will be looking at this, but that, I got to confess, is interesting. Here's the other thing, and I think he says this. I'm going to steal his thunder. Sorry, Richard. I love you, bro, but I'm going to steal your thunder on this one. There were no wings on that craft at all. It was not a sleek profile like the Concorde or anything. It was just a blob almost. There was absolutely no exhaust thrust at all. It just disappeared. There was no smoke behind it. What could cause that type of an acceleration? Now, the prosaic explanation is, of course, it must be something to do with the way the camera moved. But the background, we'll have experts, I'm sure we'll have experts' analysis of this to fall back upon. But you would think if the camera moved like that, the background would speed up too, but it didn't seem to me. So anyway, just speaking out loud.
A very anomalous behavior. Unfortunately, we do not have the range or the platform data, which really stinks. So that would be the one thing that you really want to lock.
I'm going to skip this part. I want to get to his next video, although this is interesting.
That one down, but
it was a report. Here's the one I want to show you.
Union. I'll go back to clips here.
Okay, now this clip is really fascinating to me. Let's take a look.
This one, really kind of interesting. This goes on for 4 minutes. And where the hell this is, I think this is a CENTCOM. Most of these are from U.S. Central Command. CENTCOM, that's the Middle East. That's like near the Persian Gulf and Iran, I believe. I'm not 100% sure about this one. I should have written that down. But take a look at this thing. Now here, it's moving in a fairly kind of straight linear fashion. And I think I'm just going to move it up ahead a little bit. And it starts bouncing around, as it were. Okay, look at that, starting to change direction a little bit, seemingly. And
now I can't quite tell the shape of that at this point. This is not a regular camera, and it's not a regular video. It's some kind of a special technology. That's why it looks the way it looks. I understand that. But I don't see wings on it and all. And the way this shifts direction, how it shifts direction is remarkably interesting. And the tail always follows it as it shifts direction. So there's some kind of a thrust or propulsion or wait for it to change direction. But watch what this does.
And it gets even a little crazier as we go ahead, down and up, making turns. What is this thing? It's just genuinely strange.
Notice when it turns, it gets skinnier, as if this square shape is its true shape. And then when it turns to either come toward the camera or away from the camera, it gets skinnier. And then when it finishes its turn, it goes out wider. I think that's interesting.
There we go.
See that?
This is what I wanted to get to. And it seems kind of difficult for the sensor to track consistently. As you see, it went off right off the screen there. That alone is interesting. I don't know. Was that a second?
And what was that going through? Dolan's asking, is that a second one?
Second one there that we just saw? I'm not sure. Very, very.
And why did they black out the top so much just a few seconds ago? What were they hiding from us? You see, this is the kind of stuff that makes me wonder if there is a prosaic explanation after all. Because, and in a way, this is disappointing because, you know, in the spirit of full transparency, we're going to give you part of the clip, but not all of it. That's not the spirit of full transparency. You know, what are you hiding from us that you have to black out the 2/3 of the top screen? Is that because there is a prosaic explanation and you don't want us to guess what it is? That the government's pulled worse bloopers than that against us public, and we've been tolerating it for far too long. Look, you're either going to tell us the truth or get your stupid sorry asses out of office so that we can put someone in who does. America, it's time for us to vote in better people. That would be my solemn advice if you want UFO disclosure, right? But this is remarkable nonetheless. And watch what else Richard has. Let's keep listening to him. This is fun.
And, you know, this is one of these things that the operator is tracking it. They're listing this as a UAP. So presumably the people tracking this didn't know what the heck this thing was either. And not hard to see why.
This reminds me of a protozoa under a microscope, though. I don't know what that little foggy tail is off behind it, however, but it's not really flying with any purpose or as if it thinks it has a destination. It's sort of just willy-nilly flying here and there, and then let's go that direction, then let's go that direction, as if there is no pre-planned objective to meet at.
Black project, some kind of sensitive technology that we're working on. Look, you can never rule it out. But if that is the case, then we are definitely in a very, very provably advanced aerial environment. But
it reminds me of how the fish swim in an aquarium in some regards, the motion, doesn't it?
I have to say, I have not been able to determine what kinds of unmanned aerial vehicles look like this and behave like this with this type of performance capability. I'm just not aware that they are out there. I'm not saying that they don't. On that object, for example, you don't see any wings. You don't see any clear propulsion or any kind of normal aircraft geometry. What you just see is a very compact, spherical or nearly spherical at this resolution kind of an object. I guess maybe a small drone is plausible or possible. I don't know about plausible. I wondered if that could be a bird under maybe some strange infrared conditions, but I just think this one had a very anomalous feel about it. It just doesn't seem to settle into any kind of obvious conventional pattern that I can identify.
I agree with him. There is something, there's something off about it, and yet there's something so familiar about it. I'm not quite sure, I've been thinking about it off and on all day, and I'm not quite sure actually what to think about that. But it is interesting. It's vastly more interesting than absolutely everything they put out in the first match. If they would have included this in the first match, wow, they would have made almost history, right? So let me ask you guys, what are your impressions of this thing? What do you think that could be or might be? How come it almost seems like it's floating around and not flying to me? So what do you guys think? That's a good point. It's either a test, a show, or something making it have to maneuver like that. Yeah, I suspect it's unmanned, whatever, that might mean. If it's an amoeba, then of course it's unmanned. So there's another good point. Or is it just a dumb bug trying to evade a bat? Now, don't make fun of that. That is a great question. I don't know. I guess our instruments are capable of picking up little bugs like that, but why would you follow a bug? I mean, the guy who was using that camera, I don't know. I didn't see any wings fluttering or anything like that, but you never know. Now, yeah, I don't either. Now, and here's the other thing that we've actually been forced into a narrower tube of thinking in some regards, depending on what you think and what you believe about Ross Coulthart. Because now we do have him saying, and it cost him his place on the show with Bryce Zabel, but he said, I have it absolutely on impeccable authority from one of the witnesses that the Tic Tac is human technology. Well, that changes absolutely everything about our idea of what is an anomaly with these things, because the Tic Tac, according to Fravor's description and his wing and the other lady that also saw it, that did not behave like anything we have. So if it is human tech, Lockheed specifically, Coulthart said, then that changes everything about how we view any kind of anomaly. Because, and here's why, nothing that we've seen, nothing that we've heard described, nothing that we've read about since Coulthart said the Tic Tac was human technology, nothing has ever behaved like that Tic Tac yet. Nothing even close to it. I mean, from ocean level to 80,000 feet in 1 second? No, come on. Come on. There is no way. And then to come back down and just stop and then zip off to the side. Yeah, nothing in the videos that we've seen yet suggests anything even remotely close to that. And if that's human tech, then everything we're seeing at this point is a complete letdown. Doesn't mean anything to us. No matter how many of these they show us, so what? Show us something that has a capability beyond the Tic Tac, and then give us the truth about, is that our technology or is that someone else's? Is it alien? Because we've never had clarification on that. But in the spirit of true transparency, we're not going to tell you that information, right? Yeah. A dingbat, yeah, it could be a dingbat, or else I'm the dingbat. And here's another point, well made, Kitty the Cat Gundy. Without the instruments info, who can tell? Exactly. And they keep blacking it out because, of course, that's the government's version of truth and transparency. No, we're only going to give it to you partly. Yeah, well, thanks. What's the point then? And my suspicion is because they are hiding. They want to look, for whatever reason, the government is now determined to convince the public that UFOs are real. And I am suspicious of that, without question. Something is going on. They're pulling a sleight of hand on us. We must be cautious about accepting any of this, in my opinion, And I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but I'm just saying, really, truly, that concerns me because they used to destroy your career if you even said UFO. Not describe what you saw or what you experienced. If you just mentioned the fact that they're real, bam, you were blacklisted, you were blackballed, you were massacred, you were harassed and hassled. And now all of a sudden they insist that we believe them. And they're willing to give out classified information that used to be considered important for national security. Yeah, color me skeptical. I want to believe, but that's my bias that I have to control. And let's be very frank. While these are interesting, they certainly are not convincing. Is anybody here? Would you please raise your hand? I'll tell you what, type a 0 if you're not convinced of any of this, and type a 1 if you think these are genuine UFOs in the chat right now. Who of you are convinced that this stuff is actual, real alien superior technology? And I mean alien like as in alien bodies, a superior race to us. Who believes that? I'd like to know. 1 0 0 0 1. Okay, so that 1 0. So it's about even. It's about even. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you for responding. That's important. I like it. Another 0. Okay, good. Hey, UFO Busters of Australia. He says he has better UFO recordings than that shit. We better go check his stuff out, huh? And I agree, Dean Pollard. Great point. We need more context. And, you know, I mean, let's be grateful. I'm trying to be generous here, I promise. I am grateful that they're releasing some of this stuff. Unfortunately, they're doing it in batches. Apparently, there's a lot of it that they've lied to us for 80 years that never existed. And now we're finding that there's so damn much that we can't just give it all to you. We're going to have to give it to you in batches for the next 88 years. Our government's truthful approach to us, right? Yeah. And people accuse me of having TDS. How hilarious is that? Hasn't said a true thing in his whole life. Oh, that's fascinating. Alien probes for sure. Some are very interesting, some are duds. I agree. And I suspect that's going to be the way it is, really, truly, with every batch. Some of them are just going to be blasé. You know, Mick West will take all of 1 minute to debunk them. And isn't it interesting that our Secret Service and our CIA and our FBI and the NSA and the NASA and all of those lettered agencies with all of their magnificent brain power and superior technology of FLIR radar and all that, none of them can figure it out. And Mick West, a common debunker on YouTube, can find out whether it's accurate or not within 1 minute. What's that tell you about our intelligence agency? We're doomed, man. They're hiring the wrong people. Would be my serious suggestion. I agree with you, Kiwi DJ. Next drop better be better, absolutely. And then I also agree with UFO Buster. I think they were mostly man-made. I think that's probably true. And I agree with Dean laughing my effing A off. Oh, here we go. Nice, interesting. Okay, so Nunya. Hey, Nunya, is it none of your business? I think this is the litmus test. They want to see where the reaction happens. A very interesting point of view. Could this be our test as a society and all that? I don't know. Because, I mean, let's face it, if the government did come out and actually did say, by the way, Ross Coulthart's been working for us from day one, and we told him to go ahead and let it out. The Tic Tac is our technology. I think that would blow my mind as much as it blew my mind when I first understood the implications and the videos of the Tic Tac, right? We've advanced that far and we've been kept in the dark. And yet we are told we have to pay for that stuff. No, if we have to pay for it, you're damn right. We want to fly it too. No, you're not the only ones who get to know about it. That would be my approach. But, you know, that's true democracy and nobody wants that in the government. So, yeah. Just remember Nick Pope for a moment. Great point, Roland. Yep. Good argument. Yeah, Savage Furia. They try to tell us it was something else. And they have. They have and they do, right? Yeah. True story. That's so interesting. Most are man-made. ADBM MOTUC. MOTC. Most man-made and zero known planes with this tech. We're still in the fuel burn era, so I don't see how even one of those craft are ours. None. Interesting point of view. Very interesting to think about, huh? That might be right, too. The intelligence agency ego can't admit there's something out there that they can't explain, yet they have no choice now because they have thousands of these, apparently, that they've admitted they can't explain. So that era may be over, right? Kind of interesting. Yeah, rest in peace, Nick. Yeah, we miss you, brother. Thank you. All right, so more or less, that's what I want. He's got some others. Hold on. Let me go back to Dolan real quick. Let me see. He might have had one other that I wanted to. Yeah, this one's fun.
This is another one. This is another infrared video from U.S. CENTCOM, Central Command, November of 2020. This one, I think, has a genuinely odd quality about it. If I remember which one this is. This is the this is the spherical, this is like a big. Is this a flying saucer? Is this one a disc, or is it just a sphere? We've seen this one before. I think this one was released or leaked, and here it is now as part of an official release. But you know, it just seems to drift, and it kind of redirects, and it partially disappears against the cloud background, and then it reemerges in a different part of the frame. You know, I mean, it's kind of interesting that I think this video might have been enhanced before it was released, but I don't, even if you account for any kind of enhancements, I mean, you've got the interaction of the object with the cloud layer. You've got, again, lack of visible propulsion. The way the object seems to maintain, I mean, it seems like a very solid kind of an object. I don't think it resembles any kind of conventional military aircraft behavior very well, and it's not birds. Balloon, maybe in principle, that might be possible, especially if you think of maybe some strong wind shear that might be around the clouds. But even the movement pattern didn't feel particularly balloon-like to me. So I think it's fairly bizarre clip. I don't know what that could fit into very comfortably. This is another infrared. I don't think they said where this one's from. This is just one of the military platforms. And let's click it. Here we go. We're over the water. Oh, yes. Here's this interesting sphere. I think this is another interesting one. Like sometimes with infrared, an object that is not spherical might look spherical if you don't have enough of a resolution. But I don't think that's the case here. This object maintains a very
I like how he's trying to approach it logistically, trying to eliminate possibilities and things that it may or may not be, etc. But another thing that makes me suspicious of these videos, seriously, is it's flying along. Now, notice the pattern. This one's just simply going straight. Some of the other ones we've seen tonight, they were kind of meandering around, sort of, you know. Mostly what we see when we see these spherical objects is just the straight flying ones, right? But you notice how going along, they all of a sudden immediately blackened the screen behind it. Something came into the video that would have given away what that was, or would have given a clue as to what that was. You know, full transparency, but we're going to hide this from you because we don't want you to figure this out because we're lying to you. Give me any other conclusion to come to, man. I know the government well enough by now. I'm 65. I've been around the block with it. I've seen enough deception from the very first president I ever remember, Lyndon B. Johnson. They're always lying to us. They always have something to say. When they say, well, we're going to be fully transparent, you can be sure that's another blasted lie. You know that. They may as well just tell us because that's what they're going to do. We ain't telling you spit except what we're going to allow you to see. That would be more realistic. Hey, there went a kitty. Oh, nope, it was a squirrel. Just saw it zooming out of the corner of my eye. So anyway, and I try hard. See, I've got this battle with my skepticism and with my wanting it to be real. But again, and you know, I said this, I've seen it said by hundreds, if not thousands of people in comments to other videos. And seriously, without being conspiracy minded, just show us the alien. You know, oh, you're going to be fully transparent? Okay, show us the alien. Well, we can't do that. Well, then don't bullshit us with your bullshit transparency. Don't tell me you're going to be transparent. Just show me the alien. See, they won't go that far. And it's interesting that would do nothing to threaten national security. Nothing. How's that going to threaten national security? Is that all of a sudden going to prove that Iran has a nuclear weapon if we show an alien body? You know, that's how ding-a-ling the administration thinks, logically, I suppose. How would showing the alien body threaten anything national security-wise? Would it threaten the Social Security? I doubt it. You know, would it mean we've got to double and quadruple the guards on the White House now? I doubt it. The alien body isn't being kept at the White House. You don't have to tell us where it's kept. Just show us the alien. You see how simple that is, and yet how utterly difficult it is for them to do it. And I will predict, oh, it'd be great if I'm proven wrong. I will predict right now, you ain't never seeing an alien body. Ain't no how, no way. Don't even pretend they're going to give that much to us. No. They tease us with this stuff, right? And this is my suspicion. Why are they teasing us with this stuff? What are they keeping our eyes off of that's going on over there that's destroying our freedoms, and we're letting them because we're too enamored with the UFO subject? And now that's conspiracy thinking, but I'm telling you, that's how this government operates. So it's really spooky. Oh, thank you, Juan Rodriguez. That's very kind of you. I appreciate that. Bless you. Thank you very much. And this is another thing that I want to share. Sorry, wrong one. We are being watched. Yeah, that's spooky too. And if it's not by the aliens, it's going to be by Palantir. And we'd better fight that noise, you know. 1984, Big Brother watching and all that bullshit. No, we don't have to agree to that. I absolutely disagree with the Palantir thesis. And yet the billionaires want it. Now you have to ask that question. Why do the filthy rich want to spy on all the rest of us? You see, they make big promises and every one of them are lies. You know, they promise day one in office, I will drop inflation. Pure bullshit lies. Day one in office, I'm going to show the UFOs. Pure bullshit lies. You see? Okay, let's keep going. They'd have to say, sorry, we lied about all those military personnel we said died during routine training exercises. That's another reason why we won't get full disclosure. And that is why they want to convince us to say across the board immunity, and then you'll get to see the alien body. Forget it. Don't buy into that lie either. I don't buy that. No immunity. No immunity. That's bullshit. Nope. There's got to be consequences. Consequences. If you don't want the bad consequences, then stop being so goddamn evil and doing such bad things. Hello? That's basic law. You don't want to go to jail? Don't break the law. Duh. Right? No, I say no. Nobody gets to skip the consequences. I'm not for that at all. So, very good comments tonight, you guys. And here we go. Because they are deflecting the Epstein files. Absolutely. Those are horrific. Again, promised. Oh, day one, I'll release all of the Epstein files the day one I'm in the office. My first day in office, I'm going to stop the Russian-Ukraine war. How did that go for you, Donald? Good God Almighty. The lies are non-ending, man. It's crazy. Here we go. Stop making sense. I apologize. I feel bad about that. Welcome to the conspiracy club. Yeah, I know. And I'm honestly not a conspiracy theorist, but doggone it, man. The evidence is there that something else is going on. I'm just saying. Kind of spooky. All right. Power is control. Yes. Yeah. Power is control. Thanks, Roland. Yeah. To manage and control us. That's what they want. Isn't it weird that the richer you get, the more you want to control others instead of help others thrive also? It doesn't threaten your income that you can make on the stock market with your hundreds of billions of dollars if you make it possible for others to thrive also. But somehow that simple kindergarten logic escapes all billionaires. They think they have to make it miserable for everybody except themselves. And that's why the love of money is the root of all evil. Throw in a little message from Jesus Christ there to the billionaires. Even though they don't believe in him, they're proof he was right. Because look at the evil. What about all these AI data centers? Have you been keeping up with that controversy? Holy nightmare, Batman. The one they're proposing in Utah from that rich dude out of Canada of all. Build it in your own goddamn country. Don't come to ours and ruin ours. He wants to build a data center in Utah that's going to take more than twice the power to run as the entire state of Utah. And he's miffed the people aren't welcoming him. Well, duh. Dude, and he wants the taxpayers to pay his electricity bill. And the commissioners gave it to him, and they fired the commissioners. The people rose up and said, kiss our grits. There is no way in hell you're going to do this. It's starting to rain. I got to come in under the, I'm going to go over here real quick. Hold on. Yeah, anyway. I could go on and on and on about that kind of noise. Every time a billionaire wants something, it is not because they love you and care about you, I promise. And now all of them are getting into government, and the PACs are run by super billionaires. You know, $38 million or something to defeat Democratic runners in our election. No, that can't be right. I'm with Bernie Sanders on that. Get rid of the billionaires out of the PACs and super PACs. The money is corrupting everything. So anyway, there you go. As long as we're wearing tinfoil hats, I'm safe. I'm going to have to start wearing them, I think. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting, Kiwi. We should just expect confirmation, not disclosure. They're not even going to confirm. They always say, well, we're not sure. They're never going to confirm whether it's a UFO or not either. Interesting nuance, but again, I don't think the evidence is going to be in favor of that either. So, I mean, good try, but yeah. So, all right. I know these things are real. Their power dwarfs any government. Well, interesting supposition, but what evidence do you have? So far, I don't even have enough evidence to say they're real yet. And I've been looking into this pretty heavy for the last while. So, you know, I'm just saying. I'm not trying to be skeptical. I'm just saying. Watch your assumptions. Tin hats for all. Yeah. They make it hard not to think there's a conspiracy. Good point, Savage, for you. Yeah. I mean, their very actions and words show they have something else to hide. Right? Kind of makes you wonder. You get a tin hat, and you get a tin hat, and you get it, but no tin hat for you. Yeah. That's hilarious. Yeah. Oh, well, thank you, Mark Holland. That's very kind of you. If you don't mind me being just a little vain, I'll put your comment up. You're doing a good job today, BYP. Love you. Appreciate that. I hope you include my gardening video in on that. I'm sharing some good information on gardening for a very serious reason, is because the war has gone on long enough, and the distribution lanes around the world have been cut off long enough that we really are going to face a world recession. And there is going to be a food shortage. There is a super El Nino that's going to hit the Pacific coast of South America and Mexico this year. It's the biggest thing they've ever seen on record. It's going to be exquisitely hot and totally dry. And the 30% fertilizer less in the world is making it so that many farmers in the United States are not going to plant their crops this year. Folks, I'm just trying to be real. That means our food is going to disappear. It's not going to get higher priced alone. It's going to vanish. Grocery stores' shelves last 3 hours in a crisis. They empty out. The pipelines have been disrupted. Anyway, don't get me started on that, but I'm serious. We got to learn how to grow our own food. That's why I'm doing the gardening series. I'm not joking, really. So anyway, let's get on to another subject. Yeah, I agree. Our government's corrupt. Well, all governments are corrupt. Yeah, the data centers are also being run by the military. Now, why would that be, I wonder? Why does the military have such interest in spying on each and every one of us with Palantir and having the AI data centers? What the hell is our future going to be in just 2 or 3 years? Total enslavement if we don't wake up. You heard it here. Don't tell me I didn't warn you. I'm just saying. So... Oh, well, thank you, Roland. BYP, I'm not a believer, but if I was, you'd be an icon for those who believe. Well, I'm a believer, but I need better than what I've been given. So in a way, I'm kind of going on blind faith, and that's what I screamed against about Mormonism when I was a Mormon apologist, and I quit doing all that noise. Because blind faith is a dead-end alley. And so, I hope this doesn't become a dead-end alley. But on the other hand, if they really are trying to totally enslave us and get rid of all of our jobs, you guys, there are people who are making $5 million a year in white-collar jobs being replaced by AI. They're going after every job of the American workers. Does that not scare the hell out of us? It should. It really should. Because what are we going to do for a job? How are you going to purchase anything? Well, they're going to allocate how much they think we need money-wise. That has to scare the shit out of us. We've got to wake up. So anyway, that's my conspiracy theory. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, now you guys are getting into my conspiracy theories. Yeah, really bad El Nino. That scares me spitless. That means we're not going to have any water, and yet the data centers take up all the water. They take up 80 million gallons of water a day. Can you imagine how that would affect the Great Salt Lake in Utah if that data center gets built? Holy, they give you the little cheese bait. Well, it's going to create 2,000 construction jobs. What they don't tell you is we're going to take more than double your power. You're going to pay for it. And we're going to take all your water and you're going to go thirsty. And we're only going to have a skeleton crew of 100 to 200 workers to run the data center. That is not economically beneficial to any state. It's terrifying. Just look at some of the problems some of the data centers in the other states are causing. We need to wake up to this fact. The billionaires are taking over all of our resources, our jobs, our security, our medical, our money, our water, our food, our electricity. Man, I'm telling you, this UFO stuff is kind of a sideshow. Why are we focusing on this instead of what's really important, our future? There's your conspiracy in a nutshell. So anyway, I scream and rant and rave. You're welcome, Roland. Yeah, and then they want to put data centers in space. Are you serious? Come on. And who foisted this AI war anyway? They didn't get my vote. They didn't ask me for my permission, nor the other 8 billion people. They just threw that out there to give them justification, right? Well, if we don't get it first, China will, and then we'll be behind them. I got bad news for you. Because of the dipshit American government for the last 30 years, we're already behind China in pretty much every category. Wake the hell up. Good night, man. How slow are we Americans? I'll say me. You guys already have this figured out, but I don't. But I'm figuring it out. Okay. All right. All right, you guys. Hey, I've been going over an hour. It's been a lot of fun, though, hasn't it? I kind of downplayed this UFO thing tonight. I don't mean to. It's not downplayable. I really hope the aliens are real because apparently they have made all the rest of us so freaking passive that we can't fight against becoming enslaved anymore. So we do need outside help, which will give up our sovereignty to an alien species. What if they come and save us from the billionaires and then they're worse? There's people who say that, who have had experience with the UFOs. They call them demons. Well, what if they actually are? Now, I've been fighting against that somewhat. There are accounts like Chris Bledsoe who say the aliens are good. And Artie Six Killer Clark has a lot of accounts of goodness coming from the aliens to many, many people down in Mesoamerica and Mexico. So, you have good stories, but you do have some pretty horrific bad stories. Well, if we can't help ourselves to keep our freedoms, and they have to come and rescue us from the bad guys, and then they become the bad guys, and they actually do have a superior technology, that gets you kind of pessimistic. I'm not a pessimist. So, man, look, one way or the other, we've got some serious challenges, right? The immediate future is going to be our food and water. Everyone's going to be paying more for all of it. Donald Trump lied to us. Not only is gas going up, food is going up, water is going up, electricity is going up, clothes are going up, everything is going up. Up! Do you see a pattern? Oh, come on! I'll put it this way. From what I'm hearing, and so far they've been fairly accurate, we're going to be looking at $6 a gallon gas by the 4th of July. Are we going to have anything to celebrate at all? You know, in America, $6 a gallon for gas. Can you afford that? Really? What happens if they start rationing? What happens if they start telling us you can't drive except on this day and this day? Well, who are they to tell us when we can drive? You see, they're slowly taking away our freedoms point by point. Are you ready for that? That's what's coming down the pipe, and it's almost here. We have about a month and a half window, and then shit hits the fan. SHTF. And it's going to get worse. I have heard because of the El Nino effect and because of the extra heat, we are all going to need extra air conditioning, and it's going to overpower the power grid, and we're going to lose our power. How long can you exist without power in the heat of summer? Have you even thought about that yet? Maybe you better start, because that mother's coming. What are we going to do? I'm serious. Because without power, all of the cities, municipalities, the water, the heating, the air conditioning and all run on electricity. What happens when we overwhelm it and we get nothing? Do you have water stored? You damn well better think about it, because you can only live under ideal conditions for 3 days, right? You better get some water while you got it. It's going to be a hot, hot year, folks. The Great Salt Lake is literally disappearing. You know, what are all those tens of millions of people going to do? Where are they going to go? Pretty spooky stuff. We can solve these problems, but we have to band together. We, us and our neighbors, we are not the enemy of each other. The enemy is up above us, and they're called billionaires. The ones who are running the show. They're doing a shit job of it for the rest of us, but they don't care. They don't care about you or me. Are you kidding me? That's why Donald Trump stole $1.8 billion of American taxpayer money by suing his own government agency for $10 billion, then knocking it down to $1.8 billion. And he doesn't have to give accountability to what he does with the money. And he's going to pay the January 6th rioters with our taxpayer money, whether we like it or not. Now, that's called a pirate racket, folks. That's what we're living in right now. It's the craziest damn world. I never expected to see all this silly stuff. Yet here we are. So get ready. SHTF is not cute. It's not funny. It's not a cool little slogan you can put on a hat and wear the hat. Oh, look, I'm Mr. SHTF. Wait till the power goes out and you got no food and water. What in the hell are you going to do for your family? Because you've got 3 days to figure it out. If you don't prepare right now, my advice, do it. Do it. Do it now. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger used to do. Do it. Do it now. Or you could do the Rocky routine, right? Yo, Adrian, you want to kind of store some water, maybe? Lousy impression. I apologize. I feel terrible about that. Anyway, all righty. It's a crazy world. So, anyway, sorry, I had to get all that off my chest. And wouldn't you know it, the minute I start getting it off my chest, a lot more people start showing up. What'd you do? Go tell everybody, hey, BYP is on one of his rants? I am, because I care about my fellow Americans. You know, our government doesn't. Not even your own governor, not your own mayor. You know, nobody in government cares about us anymore. We're on our own, more or less. You know, so We aren't the enemies, you know. Blue and red state and all that stupid horse shit brainwashed us by the billionaires. Throw all that bullshit out. We are human beings together. That's what we are. We band together. There's 350 million of us. Come on, America. Stand up and fight together. Look after one another. Love one another. Doggone it, I don't care if you believe it or not. Jesus got that one right. Right? That's what I would say. Anyway, hey, the sun came back out, so I can get back over here. My neighbor's looking funny at me. He's out there and he's wondering, man, what's my neighbor ranting and raving about? Pretty embarrassing, isn't it? Oh, well, he knows I'm eccentric. Woohoo! Boy, am I eccentric. Ugh. All right, here we go. Boy, you've never had a live like this, have you? Only I can get away with this. I'm the backyard professor. There is a lot of people here. You want me to keep ranting and raving? Oh, yeah, it jumped back down. All right. Okay, so it is crazy, but we can do it. Oh, hey, that's very kind of you. Laughing aloud. BYP, good cheer up for me. Oh, you are too sweet. Thank you. You're awesome. All right. Hey, now here's some good news. Top line, I am ready. Way to go, neighbor. Good for you. Now help others get ready. Right? Yeah. Yeah, for real. Here. There, UFO Ghostbusters. Or UFO Busters, sorry. Corn, beans, tomatoes, potatoes, spinach, all easily grown. Amen, good brother. Yes, they are. And in my gardening videos, I'm going to show you how to make those over and over and over again for free. Seriously. Forever food. It's easy. Well, at least that's what they say. So I'm going to show you ways in my gardening videos to do that. So yeah, good stuff. Get to the chopper, Roland says. Yeah. Oh, hey, you want to? Here we go. I'm going to tell you a joke real quick, you guys, while so many of you's here. Just because someone smelled the Great Salt Lake and for some reason said, this is the place. Who does that? Have you smelled it? Okay, here's what I actually heard. As Brigham Young and Orson Pratt and the lead dogs in the Mormon migration to the Great Salt Lake come up over Ensign Peak and saw the valley, you know. Brigham whispered to himself and he goes, whew, if any place on earth was a hell, this is the place. And the guy standing behind him turned and yelled out to the crowd, you hear that, everybody? This is the place. I love that joke. I can't help it. All right, yeah. You want to hear another corny one about BYU and Utah State? I've got another one that'll just kill you. Okay, there's a BYU guy and a Utah State guy, and they're in the bathroom. And they're doing their business, you know, and the Utah State guy zips up first and heads out the door, and the BYU guy calls out to him. He says, hey, at BYU, they teach us to wash our hands after using the bathroom. And the Utah State guy, without missing a beat, said, well, at Utah State, they teach us not to pee on our hands. Come on, you got to love that. You can use any of your two favorite colleges, but yeah, that's too much. Okay. Yeah, that was bad. Sorry. Yeah, hit the like and subscribe button. Share this with everybody that you can think of. All right, you guys, I'm telling you, this has been a lot of fun for me. This has been, you know, these are cathartic in a way, you know. I mean, you're the best audience in the world. You really are. I don't care what the others, you know, the others may get 1,000 people in their audience or whatever, but none of them match you guys. This is just so much fun to be able to associate with good people like you guys. So. Oh, yeah. And it can work as a military joke, too, Savage, for you. Yeah. Oh, well, thank you. Well, I try to. Sometimes I fail at it, but yeah. And this is important. Any current events from Simple off-the-grid solar, $3,000 now. You know, electric cars. Electric car won't do you any good if there's no electricity. I'm just passing that along. You're better off with a regular pedal bicycle. Seriously. Because the strain on the power grids are going to go out because it's going to be too hot, too dry. It's a weird confluence of events right now worldwide, and this Iran war is not helping it. So, yeah, bad times ahead, I'm afraid. I hope I'm wrong. God, please let me be wrong, but I'm afraid I'm not. I'll be happy if I am. Okay. Yes, Bella, be good. Yep, you too. All right, you guys. I am having so much fun. I don't know. Hey, I made Tim Rathbone laugh. That's good. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate that. A lot of you guys are laughing. Okay, good. Well, you got a couple of good dumb dad jokes, or not dumb dad jokes, dumb BYU jokes. Hey, Los Angeles veterans. Sincerely, thank you for your service. Yep. Yep. All right. Well, I'm about out of things to say. Oh, well, now that's very kind of you, and I appreciate knowing that. Seriously, thank you for sharing that. You ground people, BYP, and thanks for that. Well, I hope so. Sometimes I feel like I am completely untethered, and I don't mean to be. It's just that I care, and sometimes I get really emotional about it, and sometimes I get extremely angry about it because of the injustice, the social injustice. There doesn't have to be social injustice. That's what I don't get. I don't get it. You know, okay, you have $1 billion. Is it necessary for your happiness to try to take away other people's means of making money? Does that affect your $1 billion? Hell no. If 100 million more people made $1 billion, it wouldn't take yours away. But the billionaires miss simple logic like that because the money fucks their minds up. I can't think of a nicer way to say it. That is being charitable. They are messed up. That much money rots your soul. You know, what good does it do? Here's another one Jesus got right. Hey, that's 2 of them tonight I pointed out. I don't care if you believe in him or not. Here's what he said. What good does it do a man to acquire all of the wealth of the world, yet lose his soul? You're focused on the wrong stuff. You can't convince them of that, though, you know. Here's the interesting news. None of them are taking it with them. Not a one of them. Not a one of them. They aren't going to be billionaires in the next life. So that's interesting. Yeah. They must not believe in the next life, so they think they have to get it all now. But you can get it all now without harming everyone else and stopping them from getting it, you idiots. It's just the oddest thing. You know, the Hopis had a terrific saying that I love. If one of us have corn, all of us have corn. And that's why they've existed for 2,000 years. We've been around for what? 250 years? And we're already down the tubes as a country. I don't know if you're aware of that or not. I hate to share that kind of pessimism with you, but I mean, damn, they are just destroying America. Oh my gosh. Thank you. That's very kind of you, Taped Line. What are you saying here? Okay, tell me your views on the oil problem. Before the war, oil is okay, but now the people in the world are paying the price. Yeah, and you ain't seen nothing yet. My suspicion is this whole war had nothing to do with the nuclear weapon. It had everything to do with oil. I think Trump was trying to hurt China, because China gets its oil out of the Hormuz Strait. And he stupidly and short-sightedly thought attacking Iran was going to be just like attacking Venezuela. And it's not. Number one, it's a much larger country. Number two, there's a lot more people in it. Number three, its geography is vastly different than Venezuela. And so Trump never even went in with a plan. He just thought showing off those mighty aircraft carriers was going to make Iran cave, and it didn't. The bully is being stood up to, thank God, and he doesn't know how to handle it. But Iran is showing him what tough is. Sure, Trump can bullshit his way through any stupid American thought, but he's not dealing with Americans, people who forgot how to think critically. He's dealing with Iranians, and they basically flipped him the bird and said, no, 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 and no to everything he's proposed. So yeah, that's just a quick, in a nutshell. I know there's a lot of nuance there I left out, but that's my view based on all of the commentary I've been hearing. So, and anyone who says to you that we won this war does not grasp the situation at all, in my opinion. Donald Trump has gained nothing, and he has squandered the wealth of American workers for nothing, to the tune of $2 billion a day for a war that makes no sense. And we're not going to win, and it's going to leave Iran stronger. They are in control of the Strait of Hormuz. Prove me wrong. They still have their enriched uranium. Prove me wrong. They now made it a country policy to be able to charge a toll tax to ship your oil through the Strait of Hormuz. Prove me wrong. And none of that is what Donald Trump wanted. So it's a bad situation. Unfortunately, it affects the entire rest of the world. And that's sad too. Famines are going to happen. Potentially, I've heard billions of people are going to die. Billions of them. God, that's unfathomable. That's a horror show. That's a horror show. I don't think famine will hit America, but the recession will. And the prices are going to scare the living shit out of Americans when we get there. Starting in July, and pray to God like crazy when it gets to be September, because, honey, we ain't seen nothing yet. It's gonna get ugly. I really hope I'm wrong. Unfortunately, the strait has been closed long enough and the supply lines have been cut off long enough that you don't just flip a switch and get it back going normal. That's not how this works. You don't just say, oh, the war is over. Bleep, now everything's back to normal. That's not how it works. For every day the Strait of Hormuz is closed, it takes 7 days to recover from the loss of that one day. Count how many days this war has been involved and the Strait of Hormuz closed, and tell me how long you get to. I'm seeing it as 2 years. Now here's the question. 2 years, folks. That's over 700 days. What happens if electricity goes out in the first month of those 2 years? Are we going to be able to handle it for 2 years? Those are the kinds of questions you got to start asking, because that bad boy's on the way if things don't change really, really fast, and they're not going to. They're not going to. I don't see any way that the strait's going to open. And it's interesting that the strait has been opened up for China. China's still getting the oil. Iran's cooperating with China and Russia and all those guys. They're not suffering because of it. Hell, Russia's making money hand over fist, except Zelensky keeps hitting his oil factories and his production plants. Yeah, it's convoluted. It's difficult. It's complex, but it's not pretty. America wins nothing. America wins nothing in this war. We lose everything. We lose everything. The petrodollar. What are we going to do? This is a very serious question. I'm not giving you hyperbole. What are you going to do when our dollar is worth a dime? What are we going to do? Because the petrodollar is on the way out. They're replacing it with the Chinese yuan. You think look at the news. It's a horrifying move. It's terrifying. We've let down all of our allies in the Gulf region. We are being kicked literally out of the Gulf region. I don't know if you knew it or not, but every single American base in existence in the Gulf region has been destroyed. It takes billions of dollars to rebuild a base. All 39 of them are gone. We've been ousted. We will not be there anymore. Were you aware of that? You weren't if you're listening to the American news media, because they control that. That's the terrifying part. Our influence in the world has gone way down. So, yeah, sorry to be so full of bad news, but I'm here to tell you as a friend and a brother, sincerely, build your community and build your preparation. It's time. No more dawdling, you guys. We don't have time to dawdle. It's coming this year, 2026. God's judgment has been declared. Don't you see it? I'm not even trying to be a preacher. I'm not. I promise I'm not. But with that El Nino, that's a terror. That's a horrifying situation, you know, along with all the disrupted pipelines. Our oil reserves, you want to hear the scary one? You ready for this? Sit down. Sit down. I hate to say this, but our strategic oil reserves are at 300 million barrels right now. Now, Obama stupidly burned through half of them. Now, that's not a crime. But the stupid thing is, neither he nor anyone else after him, including Donald Trump twice, did not refill the strategic oil reserve. So we are down under 300 million barrels of oil right now. Here's the part they're not telling you. The bottom 200 million, 2/3 of the remaining reserves are not usable. They're sludge. That means we have 100 million barrels left of oil. We're going to run out in 10 to 15 weeks. Do the math. What month is 15 weeks from now? June, July, August, September. What are you going to do? Now, that's not just oil for motor oil for vehicles. That's liquid natural gas as well, because that also is affected. That's energy. Our energy is running out. Get ready and learn how to live without convenient, cheap energy. But could we really afford $10 to $12 of gas? A gallon of gas? Now, there are other countries who are already paying that much. There really are. And they're telling us Americans, you guys are so spoiled rotten, we don't feel sorry for you. Well, I get that point. You got a point. Good point. But we chose to try to be intelligent until the last 3 or 4 presidential administrations we've had with how we use our energy. And so we've been able to keep it on the lowdown, but we're not going to be able to anymore. directly because of this Iran war, which was Donald Trump's choice. No, you don't get to say, well, Joe Biden did this or that. Bullshit. Donald Trump chose to fight this war. This is on him. That's irrelevant. We have a problem coming, man. It's a bad one. It's a big one. We got to work together and we can get through this. But I'm not trying to be doom and gloom, but we're in for some very difficult times in 2026 and all the way through 2027. Seriously. So, I'm going to try my part and share how to garden better, whether you're in a country and you have acreage, you can convert to gardens, or whether you're in a city apartment on floor 27 and you have no room for a garden, you have no lawn, whatever, you can do bucket gardening. You can grow your food, and you're going to want to, because supplies of food are already disrupted. Have you ever thought of this? Our medical pharmacy supplies, they're already disrupted. Does that not make you sit up just a little and say, oh, damn, I never thought of that? Yeah, you better. We have about a month and a half window here. We really got to start being intelligent now and recognizing, okay, the day of fun and games and birthday cakes and whoop-de-doo are gone. Now is the time to prepare for something bad, because it's here. It's here right now. The effects, we have about a month and a half before they're felt. Wheat, 21% less wheat is going to be available worldwide simply because of the weather. That means bread. Think. Wheat, yeah, well, that doesn't bug me. Yeah, well, do you eat a sandwich at lunch at work? Then it bugs you, because you're going to be paying premium dollar for bread. Unless you have it yourself. There's other ways besides wheat to make bread. You might want to look into learning some of those. I'm just trying to help you. We need to become aware of our surroundings. Our surroundings are evil right now. I wish I could say something different, but I don't see anything good coming right now. This is going to be tough. The next 2 years are going to be hard. It's going to suck. And damn it, we can alleviate some of the suffering, but you better start. We're at the end of May, man. They were telling us by the beginning of April that the world recession was going to start hitting America. Oh, that's been 2 months ago, man. And the strait has been closed all that time. That means no supplies are coming. Do you understand? Nothing is coming into America, into our ports, the commodities, the stuff we buy. The availability of food is going to go. Are you ready? The availability of water. Are you ready? You got a chance. I'm just saying. But you got to act. This is not one of those, well, yeah, hold on, let me watch Archie Bunker first. Let me watch the reruns of Archie Bunker, and then I'll get on with it. Yeah, good luck to you. The parable of the grasshopper and the ant is absolutely applicable here. You think, yeah, that was just a child's toy. I'm telling you, that's reality. We're in it right now. If you want a more religious paradigm, here you go. Jesus, again, this is the third time, just off the top of my head. I don't care if you believe in him or not. Doesn't matter to me. Jesus got this one right too. His parable, the 5 wise and the 5 foolish virgins. 5 of them trimmed their wick and filled their lamps with oil. 5 of them played video games and went out ice skating and to the dances. And those are the 5 that got caught with their panties down and got spanked really, really bad by the circumstances of pure evil because they did not prepare. It's your choice. I'm just here to help. Try to say, you know, I'd love to be wrong. I mean, damn it. I would so love to be wrong. Unfortunately, at this point, based on what I've heard, based on what I'm seeing, how much you paying for gas? Let me tell you something. Here's my personal experience, and it's a small example. It's nothing major, but it is a representation of what I know every single person in the world is going through right now, except the billionaires. They don't give a damn because it doesn't affect them. They have enough money to go build bunkers to live in because they're going to try to cause nuclear war. Here's my experience with my lunch. Every now and then, I get one of those fun lunches. One I get to go buy instead of make it home, right? Those lunches used to cost me about $4.50. $4.50, about. Depending on how much I got of the potato wedges and stuff like that. That same lunch, with the same amount, now costs me over $10. And it's not extravagant. I'm not going to a restaurant. So I know everybody else is feeling that because the prices did not go down. Not for gas, not for oil, not for heat, not for air conditioning, not for tires on my car, not for my gosh damn insurance. Do you know how much my license cost me on my car this year? I remember just a few years ago, I only had to pay $41. This year, it was $75.49. If I pay that much for the license sticker, I know 350 more million of you are. You can't lie about that. You know damn well you're paying more. Well, that means less money for food. But what are we going to do when the food quits? We have to look that far ahead. Have to. Not an option if you want to survive. What if you have children at home? Water, the recommended is 1 gallon per person in your household per day. Okay? And that's just basics. That's just basically for drinking and maybe washing off your armpits. Not a full shower. Your days of showering are over once the power goes out, if it goes out. I hope to God it doesn't. But it's almost inevitable at this point. So 1 gallon per person. If you have 2 children at home and there's you and your husband or you and your wife, if your mother or mother-in-law happens to be living with you because she has health concerns and all, let's say you have 5 people in the household. That is 5 gallons per day. And they're recommending you get at least a month worth of water. What's 5 times 30? 150 gallons. That's what you have to have to survive 1 month. Yeah, that's ugly. It's scary. I'm scared. Okay? I'm scared. I don't like this. I don't like this. So, like I say, do you know how to purify water? I'll tell you. Don't be embarrassed if you don't know. Just listen, because you have to do this, especially if the city pumps are down and you have to go get water out of the river. No water is safe by its. Don't ever pull water out of a river, a creek, a lake, anywhere. even rainwater. And some states, ironically, have made it illegal to gather rainwater. What kind of government do we have? They think they own the fucking rain? Are you kidding me? No, I'm not kidding you. The way to purify water is boil it to a rolling boil for 1 minute. Now, if you have an electric stove and the electricity is out, how are you going to boil your water? You have to have heat. Then you're going to have to know how to make a fire. Are you able to make a fire? If not, can you find a way so that you are capable of making a fire so that you can boil your water? Because the problems with unboiled water, with the Giardia and the E. coli and whatever else is in, is nasty, bad, deadly. It'll make you deathly sick. You must boil your water. And if you're at a higher elevation, you got to boil it for 3 minutes, not 1. Boil everything you drink, or get a really good water filter. Always boil your water. You can't believe how many people I talked to during the course of my day while I'm at work and all that did not know that. It completely blew my mind. Absolutely blew me away. They didn't realize that. Well, I mean, it looks clear. Nope, not good enough. You can't see the microorganisms that will kill you in a horrible death where you're blowing out liquids out both of your ends, your butt and your mouth, and you're losing hydration faster than you're taking it in, and you die an excruciatingly dehydrating death in 3 hours. I'm not trying to paint a bleak picture. I'm trying to show you what could be real if you don't seriously understand that you must boil your water, all of it. If you do get it out of the river or the creek or whatever, put a t-shirt over a jar or a baking dish or whatever and strain the water so it'll get the larger particles out, and then take that water and boil it. If you have to do it over a fire, then do it over a fire. If you have to cut your piano apart to get safe water, then you gotta cut your piano apart to get yourself safe water for you and your kids. That could be a actual more probable future than we've had ever right now. That's how bad it's going to get. I hope I'm wrong. I would not be happy at all if I'm right. But I haven't been wrong yet about this constant gosh dang inflation going on. Now I'm just preaching. Good grief, you guys. Shut me up. Man, there are more people here than was it. You guys must like, okay. I hope you guys are talking. Yeah, you are. Good. Yeah, if you get an electric pump, also have a hand pump. You gotta think hand. See, we've been sold the myth of convenience, and that locks us into the system. We now have to learn how to think independent. Well, I don't want to walk a mile to the river to get a bucket of water. Then die, because you're going to have to. See what I mean? Well, I just want to turn on the tap. That's nice. But if there's no electricity, physics doesn't give a damn what you want. It's going to act how it always has. And if there's no electricity to run the pump, there's no water when you turn on the faucet. Get over it. You see, we've been sold convenience. And that's what's going to hurt the most, is because a lot of this stupid stuff that's coming down the pipe is going to be really inconvenient, and it's going to suck. And see, here's the other downside of this. What kind of mood is everybody going to be in? You know, this could get ugly. I hope not. I hope we are adult enough and mature enough and loving enough and friends enough that we can help one another in our communities and be good neighbors, because all of us are vulnerable, and absolutely every one of us are going to need help. And we have to think team or it's over. I'm just saying. Boy, did I get off topic or what? I'm not going to apologize for it because I love y'all. I don't believe in social injustice. Nothing angers me more. And yet everything that's happening to us is just, it's unnecessary, it's unjust, but we're going to have to suck it up, Cupcake, and experience it together and work through each other. And, you know, he ain't heavy, he's my brother. One of my favorite songs. He ain't heavy, he's my brother. Here's another one. Jesus Christ again. This is the fourth one off the top of my head. Again, I don't care if you believe in him or not. I don't care. It doesn't give. The Good Samaritan. The parable of the Good Samaritan. Go reread that. That's a very important one. Truly. Don't hold your Bible upside down and not read it like Donald Trump does for a photo op. Open the book and reread the parable of the Good Samaritan. That's what we're going to have to be. Even with people we wrongly perceive are our enemy. Well, I'm not going to help that son of a bitch. He's a Republican. No, wrong approach. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Time out. Don't pull man, the problem in America is we've politicized everything and everybody. Quit. For the love of all that is holy, stop that. Forget politics. We're humanity. We're humans. We help each other. We love one another. Jesus again. Gosh damn it. That's like 5. Love your enemies because love heals, right? We're going to have enough crap to deal with without fighting and beating up each other. That's not going to help. Right? So anyway. Oh, man, I just dropped my pop. Hey, look at that. My lid stayed on. Woohoo! I'm telling you, this is a good mug. All right, you guys. Now I really do have to quit. Look, I've been at it for 2 hours. Thank you. I love y'all. This has been fun. I probably had to rant and rave that out. Share it with people that you're concerned with who may not be taking this seriously. Man, I hope I'm wrong. Please, dear Lord, let me be wrong. But I'm not. All of the signs are here, man. All of the signs are here. It's not pretty. We can do it with each other, helping, loving. We're going to have to shift our priorities. I get it. Change is coming, and change sucks. That's the one thing we really do hate is change. I get it. Yeah. I hate change. I like in my routine. All of that's going to go away, you guys. Just get ready for it psychologically, if nothing else. Get ready for it. It's technically it's here. We won't see the real bad effects until September, and God help us then. But by the 4th of July, we're going to realize something is way wrong here. Hold it. That ain't right. It's a hypothetical at this point, but let me ask you another question, then I'll close on this. By the 4th of July, what will we do when all of the grocery store shelves are empty and there's no trucks left on the interstate with anything in them? You guys, the pipeline has been disrupted. There is nothing else coming in. I don't know how else to explain that to you. There is an end to our abundance. And unfortunately, barring any unforeseen circumstances, we're all going to see that. What will we do if by the 4th of July, none of our stores have anything on their shelves? That is not a ridiculous proposition, unfortunately. That one's actually more probably accurate than not, and that scares the hell out of me. We never even used to think, oh, well, hey, honey, can you go to the grocery store and get me a gallon of milk? Yeah, sure. Hey, grab a 6 a dozen eggs too. Well, you bet. Yeah, no problem. You think the price of eggs is difficult? What happens when you don't get any at the store? Then your friends have chickens. See, you want to have a network of people that can help one another and support one another, because those days are upon us. A month will go by just like that. Bam. Just done. It'll be a month down the road. We'll be facing the 4th of July. Who knows what gas will be by then? But will we have any food? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not predicting that. I'm just saying the probability has really risen that is the circumstance. And in September, the probability is terrifyingly high that that's going to be our reality for a few years. You can't just click your fingers and voila, everything's back to normal after this all ends. That's not how it works. There is no off-on switch. That's not how it works. You know, it took the ships coming out of the Strait of Hormuz before the war, it took some of those ships 6 months to dock where they were going. You don't just say, oh, well, hey, now the ships can flow. Everything's tomorrow morning, all the shelves will be full. It's going to take months and months and months to get all the stores back stocked, if not years, let alone oil price down, let alone electricity back on. What happens if your house catches fire and burns down? Well, what do you do? What do you do? Do you know how to camp? Do you have a tent? Do you have an understanding of how to build shelter? Well, don't you think it might be wise to at least get a little rudimentary knowledge of that? I think that'd be pretty wise. The weather forecast in Middle America, Tornado Alley, is horrifying this year with the El Nino. So, all right, now I am going to quit. Damn it, I've said that 5 times now. I'm going to stop. But anyway. Uh-oh, am I frozen? Sorry. I'm breaking up. You said that 808 and 808. Oh, have I been freezing up? I'm sorry. Have you been hearing me? All right. Well, all right. I'm going to go now. Thanks for everything. I'll read your comments later and comment. I hope I'm unfrozen. I'm not frozen like this. I'm just frozen like this. All right, man. I'm going to head out. I will see you guys soon. Keep track for my other videos. I've got a lot more to share with you before I can't. Because when the electricity goes off, we won't be able to connect this way either. And I am going to miss that. That is going to make me very angry. Because I love being in connection with my good friends on YouTube. Yeah. This is one of the highlights of my day and my week. How dare those billionaires take this away from me because of their greed? That's worth fighting for. And I will fight. All right, you guys. See you soon.